At 82, I've learned countless lessons about life, but one choice weighs heavily on my heart. Moving into a nursing home. When I made the decision, it seemed sensible. My family urged me forward, assuring me I'd have top-notch care and comfort in my later years. Their promises painted a picture of safety and ease, and I believed them. But once I crossed the threshold, I discovered a reality far different from what I'd envisioned. If you're contemplating a nursing home for yourself or a loved one, you might see it as the safest or most practical step. Before you commit, I want to share 6 critical truths I wish someone had shared with me. Life in a nursing home isn't just about convenience, it reshapes your entire existence. And leaving is far harder than you might expect. Stay with me until the end, as these insights could change your perspective. If you know someone facing this decision, this message might be the clarity they need. Let's dive in. Regret 1. Losing my independence. The most jarring realization wasn't the cramped room, rigid meal schedules, or unfamiliar faces around me. It was the sudden loss of control over my own life. At home, I was the master of my days. I decided when to rise, what to cook, and how to fill my hours. I could stroll through my garden, whip up a favorite recipe, or sink into my worn armchair with a good book. In the nursing home, those freedoms vanished. My time belonged to their schedule. Breakfast arrived at a fixed hour, whether I was hungry or not. Bedtime was enforced, ready or not. A walk outside? That required permission and often a wait for an available staff member. Even basic choices, what to wear, what to eat, felt like rare privileges rather than my inherent rights. I'll never forget my first week. I woke up in a bed that felt foreign, stretched, and instinctively reached for the novel I'd been reading at home. But my nightstand was bare. My books, my cozy chair, the little treasures I'd collected over decades, they were all gone. In their place were plain walls, a stiff mattress, and a sinking feeling. This wasn't my home. I was no longer in charge. The worst part? Once you surrender your independence, reclaiming it feels nearly impossible. You adapt because you must. You stop questioning the dinner menu or requesting unscheduled walks. You mold yourself to their system, but in doing so, you lose fragments of who you are. If you're considering a nursing home, pause and ask, are you truly ready to let go of the small freedoms that define your life? They matter more than you might realize, and once they're gone, you'll ache for them in ways you never expected. Regret 2. Feeling forgotten. One of the hardest truths I faced was how quickly the outside world moves on without you. When I moved in, my family promised regular visits, and I clung to their words. In the beginning, they followed through. My daughter dropped by weekly, bringing stories of her day. My grandchildren popped in on weekends, their laughter filling the room. For a while, I felt tethered to my old life. But as months passed, the visits tapered off. My daughter's trips became phone calls, then brief texts. My grandchildren got swept up in school, jobs, and their own lives. Holidays hurt the most. Everyone vowed to come, but last-minute changes left me alone, watching other residents gaze at the door, hoping for a familiar face that never appeared. It wasn't that my family stopped loving me. Life simply took over. When you're no longer part of their daily rhythm, it's easy for them to assume you're fine, settling in, not needing their presence as much. But the truth is, the longer you're in a nursing home, the more you feel forgotten. I remember one quiet evening, sitting in my room, clutching my phone, debating whether to call my son. I didn't want to seem needy or guilt him into visiting, so I set the phone down, and the loneliness settled in like a heavy fog. If you're weighing this choice, ask yourself, are you prepared for the isolation that creeps in? No matter how much your family cares, being out of sight can make you feel out of mind, and that silence cuts deeper than you might imagine. If you're finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so and turn on the bell for future updates. Your support means the world. Let's keep going. Regret 3. Losing my sense of purpose. When I moved into the nursing home, I thought I was just changing my address, not the reason I got out of bed each morning. At home, I had responsibilities, however small. I watered my plants, brewed my morning coffee, and kept my space tidy. I had hobbies, knitting, reading, even chatting with neighbors that gave my days meaning. Those routines grounded me. In the nursing home, they disappeared. Meals were prepared for me, cleaning was handled by staff, and there were no plants to nurture. At first, I told myself it'd be a relief. No chores, no obligations, just rest. But within weeks, I felt an emptiness. The days stretched on, with little to do but wait for the next meal or activity. I saw the same hollowness in others. George, an 84-year-old carpenter, had spent his life building furniture in his garage. Here, with no tools or projects, he grew withdrawn. His hands, once strong and skilled, rested idly in his lap. "I feel useless," he confessed one day, and his words mirrored my own heart. When you lose the tasks and passions that give life purpose, something inside fades. The mind slows, the body weakens, and you start to feel like just another face in a place where time crawls. If you're considering a nursing home, ask, what makes your life meaningful? The daily rituals, the small responsibilities? They're harder to hold on to than you think, and without them, you might struggle to feel alive. Regret 4, declining health faster than expected. Before the nursing home, I was doing well for my age. I wasn't running marathons, but I could manage daily tasks. Cooking, walking to the mailbox, caring for myself. Simple routines like stretching each morning or carrying groceries kept my body strong. But once I moved in, everything shifted. Meals were delivered, so I stopped cooking. Help was a button away, so I moved less. At first it felt like a luxury, but soon I noticed changes. My legs grew stiffer. Rising from a chair became a chore. The less I did, the weaker I became, and the decline was shockingly swift. I watched it happen to others too. Alice, 81, arrived full of energy, determined to walk daily around the facility. She'd laugh and say, "Age is just a number." But after months of less activity, she leaned on a walker, then a wheelchair. "I don't know how I aged so fast," she told me, her voice heavy. In a nursing home, everything is designed for ease, but that convenience comes at a cost. When you stop moving, your body betrays you. If I'd known, I'd have pushed myself to stay active, to walk more, to resist the temptation to sit. If you're considering this move, ask, will you keep your body strong when life is made too easy? Strength slips away faster than you expect, and rebuilding it is a battle you might not win. If you're still with me, comment number 4 below to show you're engaged. Subscribe and hit the bell to stay connected. Let's move forward. Regret 5, loss of privacy and dignity. I never anticipated how much privacy I'd sacrifice. At home, I had my sanctuary. I could close my door, enjoy silence, and handle personal tasks on my terms. In the nursing home, privacy was a rare commodity. Staff entered my room for checks, shared spaces, offered little solitude, and even intimate tasks, like bathing or dressing, often required assistance. I understood they were doing their jobs, but it's humbling to need help with things you've done independently for decades. Simple acts became ordeals. Want a shower? You might wait hours for an available aid. Dislike the day's menu? You eat what's served or go hungry. Shared rooms added another layer of challenge. I was fortunate to have a kind roommate, but others weren't so lucky, dealing with disruptive or unwell neighbors who made rest impossible. No matter how you decorate, your room never feels like home. Dignity erodes in subtle ways. When staff enter without waiting for your response, when you're addressed like a patient instead of a person, when your routines are dictated by someone else's schedule, you start to feel like a number, not a name. If you're considering a nursing home, ask, are you prepared to give up the privacy and dignity you've always known? The loss is deeper and more personal than you might expect. Regret 6, harder to leave than you think. When I moved in, I told myself it was temporary. I'd try it out, and if it didn't suit me, I'd return home. But leaving proved far more complicated than I'd imagined. My house sat empty, and my family began selling belongings, assuming I'd stay. When I raised the idea of going back, they hesitated. Are you sure you can manage? Isn't it safer here? After months of less activity, I wasn't as strong or confident. The independence I'd once taken for granted felt out of reach, and fear kept me rooted. I met others with similar stories. They'd planned to test the nursing home, only to find the door back to their old life closing. Homes were sold, savings dwindled on care costs, and the outside world became a distant memory. What felt like a reversible choice became permanent. The longer you stay, the more the nursing home becomes your entire world. If you're considering this step, ask, are you ready for a move that might be one way? The financial, physical, and emotional hurdles to leaving are steeper than you might anticipate, and they grow with time. If this resonates, comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. Subscribe and hit the bell to catch future insights. Your support helps share these lessons far and wide. Final thoughts. I don't regret growing older, but I deeply regret assuming a nursing home was my only option. I expected comfort, security, and an easier life. Instead, I lost my independence, my sense of purpose, my privacy, and so much more. Nursing homes aren't inherently wrong. Some truly need their level of care, but they come with sacrifices that run deep. If you're facing this decision, take your time. Explore alternatives like in-home care, assisted living, or home modifications to preserve your freedom. Visit facilities, ask hard questions about daily life, and talk openly with your family about what you value. Fight to hold on to your routines, your choices, your life for as long as you can. Thank you for joining me on this journey. In the comments, share one lesson that struck you and how you'll apply it. Your thoughts inspire me, and reading them fuels my motivation. If this spoke to you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear it. Your support keeps these stories alive, helping others make informed choices. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to connecting again soon.